Hello, this is Mike Kaufman, the author of the Motor Oil Bible. Thanks for taking the time to view part 5 of my video series, The Top 4 Reasons Not to Use Synthetic Oil. And before we get started with this part 5 of the series, I do need to take care of the necessary disclaimer. Unfortunately, it is necessary for me to issue this disclaimer indicating that the information I'm providing to you in this video is for entertainment purposes only. By watching the remainder of this video and or putting into practice any of its recommendations, you are releasing me from any and all liability that may result. Although I am a professional in the area of lubrication and filtration, you are advised to research these issues fully before deciding to implement any of my suggestions, and your decision is ultimately your own and releases me from all liability. Now, as I said, this is part 5 of what has now become a 7-part series. I keep having to split these because I have to fit them into 10 minutes to fit them on YouTube. So, but if you haven't seen parts 1 through 4 yet, then simply click the little triangle to the right of this video, or visit the website address listed below at motoroilbible.com if you don't happen to be on the site currently, and you can view those previous parts of the series. Now here we're talking about low mileage drivers. This is a continuation of the low mileage drivers portion of this series. We started the first portion of it in part 4, and here we're going to discuss whether engine protection is a significant benefit to low mileage drivers who consider moving to synthetic oil. Now, fuel economy, not so much. In part 4, we determined that improved fuel economy isn't really a major benefit to be gained for low mileage drivers considering a switch to synthetic motor oil. Now, that doesn't mean that synthetic motor oils don't offer improved fuel economy. They do. It's just that we established that for low mileage drivers, even in a best case scenario, the savings from fuel expenses, improved fuel economy, didn't really significantly outweigh the additional expense of going to a synthetic oil. So the question is, why not engine protection? Why, even though improved fuel economy may not be a significant benefit to low mileage drivers, certainly enhanced engine protection has to be a significant benefit, right? Well, don't count on it. In previous videos, we discussed, in fact, in parts 2 and 3, I think, basically, we discussed that the use of synthetic oil could very well extend engine life from, say 100 to 150,000 miles to easily 300,000 or 400,000 miles or more. So a significant extension in the life of an engine, and likewise for the transmission and differentials, which are also lubricated components, and you could use synthetic lubricants in those as well. But 30 to 40 years in the same vehicle? I mean, that's really what you're talking about, because if you divide 300,000 to 400,000 miles by 10,000 miles per year, if you're a low mileage driver, it would take you 30 to 40 years to put on that many miles. Could you even drive a vehicle for that long? I mean, the body would be a mess. 15 years is about it for the body on most vehicles, especially if you live, in a northern state like Michigan, where I am, where, road salt and, from the snow and whatnot, I mean, it just makes a mess. So, and most people couldn't stand to drive a vehicle much longer than 10 or 15 years anyways. Could you? I mean, I don't know if I could. I mean, I guess if I had to, I suppose I could, but I'd rather not. So, but for a high mileage driver, that's not really true. For them, the benefit is there, because even if you only put 25,000 miles on your vehicle each year, which is relatively high mileage, but there's some folks putting 50 or 60,000 if they're a realtor or something like that. But even at 25,000 miles per year, that same 300,000 miles would take just 12 years to get to. 400,000 miles, you could get there in 16, which is pushing it a little bit, but still, to some extent doable. At least the body of the vehicle can actually last that long. Whether you'd want to drive the vehicle that long is another story, but the fact is at least the engine and the other lubricated components would be toward the end of their useful life around the same time as the body. So it makes much more sense for a high mileage driver. They're going to get the full benefit. So more miles equals more benefit when we're talking about synthetic oils. Just crunch the numbers. The more miles you drive, the more useful synthetic oils are going to be. Low mileage drivers simply don't get the full benefit from the considerable increase in expense of going to synthetic oil. And don't get me wrong, I mean, synthetic oils are great. I sell synthetic oil. I think they're a phenomenal product. But for some people, it's not necessarily a huge benefit. Doesn't mean they can't use synthetic, just means it may not really benefit them as much as, some other products. So am I saying don't buy synthetic? No, I'm not saying that. If you want to, go ahead. I'm just saying if you're a low mileage driver, don't expect a huge benefit, at least cost-wise, from making the switch to synthetic. So that kind of wraps up our low mileage driver section. Part 6 will be coming soon. Remember, this is part 5 of what has now become a 7-part series. So check the playlist by clicking the little triangle to the right and see if any of the subsequent parts have already been released. Maybe you're coming at this a little behind the 8 ball and I've already released all 7 parts. Who knows? So if they're there, feel free to watch them now. If not, then expect part 6 to be released very soon. Probably in a day or two, and I'm going to be discussing leased vehicles and whether those are an appropriate situation to use synthetic oil. So follow me, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, become a member of the blog, and in any of those manners, follow my RSS feed from the blog. I will be notifying you when future video installments are released. So any of those methods, please feel free to follow me. If you become a member of the blog, then not only will I provide those notifications to you, but you'll also be entering yourself for a chance to win in the monthly drawings, which will be either copies of my book and certain automotive gadgets and tools and things of that nature that I'll be giving away each month. And every member of the blog is entered in that drawing every single month. So consider heading over to motoroilbible.com/blog and checking it out. And from the motoroilbible.com main website, you can actually register to become a member of the blog as well. So whatever method works for you to follow me, go ahead and use that. Make sure you tell your friends and relatives. And if you watch some of the previous videos in this series, you'll discover how telling your friends about this site could significantly increase your chances of getting a free copy of the Motor Oil Bible. I'm doing a 10, and if you've come at the right time, I'm doing a 10-day pre-launch where I'm releasing all of these videos for content, so you guys can see that I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just trying to sell you synthetic oil. But at the end of that 10 days, I'm going to give away 1,000 copies of the Motor Oil Bible, the brand new edition that just came out, hasn't even been released yet. This is the launch for the new version. So I'm going to give away 1,000 copies. And if you tell your friends and relatives about this site and about the book, then you may actually increase your chances of getting a free copy of the Motor Oil Bible. So to spread the word, either click the envelope at the bottom toolbar of this video, or click the Spread the Word button to the bottom right if you're on the motoroilbible.com website, and there'll be numerous methods available there that you can spread the words through social networking and email and whatever method works for you, and increase your chances of getting a copy of my book for free, because every person that you send to this site is potentially an extra chance. Because what happens is, every one of those individuals, when I do the launch and I say, okay, it's time, 1,000 people are going to show up at my website really fast and get 1,000 copies. If you happen to be out of town or away or something and you don't get a chance, but one of the friends that you recommended to the site gets a copy, they have my permission to give one copy to send one copy to one person that they want to send it to. And since you send them to the site, hopefully that person will be you. So thanks for spreading the word about the book and about this site. Hopefully it'll give you a better chance of getting a free copy of my book. And I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you'll come back for part 6. Take care.